want to win a war? You're going to need a certain type of NCO. Hey, I am Chuck the bureaucrat, and lately I've been feeling nostalgic for a certain type of junior non-commissioned officer that most of the brass doesn't like. But for whatever reason, these otherwise difficult people have always worked really well with me. I'd go so far as to say that a surprising number of them have taken a genuine interest in my growth as an officer and helped shape me to be a more successful leader. And so today I thought I'd share a technique with those, difficult NCOs. A technique that I learned from a labor union when it comes to counselings. First, let me describe the kind of NCO I'm talking about and the vital capabilities that they bring to any fighting force. At the most basic level, these young men and women come from disadvantaged places. The kinds of places where you have to be hard just to survive. These are the places where fancy talk is worth nothing, and the only way you're going to get ahead is with hard work. By and large, these folks view a fist fight as a credible way to settle a dispute, and more than a couple of them think of bar fights as kind of like a hobby. The interesting thing about these characters is that quite a few of them make it into the ranks of the junior non-commissioned officers despite the inevitable UCMJ action that whirls around them. Of course, the reason they get promoted is really simple, and that is that no matter how bad it gets, they get the job done. Maybe they don't get it done pretty, but they get it done no matter how cold, wet, tired, hungry, or irritated they are. I knew this one staff sergeant who took a faltering motor pool and completely turned it around. There was this one buck sergeant who just went from convoy to convoy the whole time he was deployed. As soon as one convoy entered the fob, he would volunteer to go out on the next convoy. And you want to know why? Because out on the convoys, there ain't no BS. Convoy commander doesn't care if your uniform's pressed or your boots are shined. All they care about is that if a vehicle breaks down, it gets back up and running as fast as possible. Unfortunately for these folks, eventually they have to go to a formation. Eventually, the sergeant major sees them, and eventually they start getting counseling statements. And I'm not saying that they don't have to clean up their act or that the counseling statements aren't fully deserved. I'm just saying that when the balloon goes up, we need those kind of leaders. So if you are one of those junior NCOs, I got a little technique that you can use to push back against the counselings. The way this works has to do with what's really happening with those counselings. The counselings are trying to show that you have a pattern of misbehavior. What some people who are out to get you will do is they'll write you up a couple of times, and then they will start to try to argue what that pattern of misbehavior is. And in a lot of cases, the only real pattern that exists is that it's always the same person writing you up. So what you have to do is set the stage to disprove their made-up pattern. And the way you do that is providing this written statement. This counseling does not accurately reflect the facts of the matter. Don't refute the counseling. Do not provide facts for the counseling. Only say that the counseling is incomplete. And this is a beautiful tactic. If they try to pressure you to explain how the statement is not complete, you just point out that it's their job to ensure that the counseling statement is complete and factual. I mean, they're the ones signing their name to a written statement. You're just pointing out that they didn't do that job completely. If they start pushing you on why you didn't provide your side of the story, hey, look, I am not the most articulate guy. And when the master sergeant sat me down for a counseling, I was really scared. I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that he wasn't telling the whole story. Then, if things progress to the point that you're up against some administrative separation board, that's when you and your defense lawyer can start to explain what was really going on. Now, before I wrap this up, I do have to address some of you out there who will say that I'm just giving away the keys to the kingdom. Trust me, I'm not. I mean, if this simple technique bamboozles you, I can't help you. Because the senior NCO versions of the characters I'm talking about, trust me, they exist. They taught me at least 5 techniques that if I want you gone, you're going to be gone. Now, if you want a technique so your boss stops micromanaging you, check out this video.